I saw a video the other day that said following Jesus is not always easy. In fact, it is quite painful. It is painful for us to let go of our human desires, our wills, our dreams, and learn to walk in obedience with Jesus when our flesh is like fighting so hard to run in the opposite direction. And when I saw that video, when I first heard the words that following Jesus is painful, I was like, no, it's not. It's not painful. But the last couple of days, I've been kind of reflecting on that and coming into agreement with that statement that following Jesus is painful. And as much as we say that following Jesus is a joy-filled thing, that's not always the case. It is painful to unlearn loving all the things that we love and learning to love everything Jesus does. Because naturally we love recognition, we love fame, we love money, we love all the bad things. And well, I shouldn't say bad. They're not all inherently bad, but your intentions behind them are what make them bad. And you might be stumbling across this video and being like, who is this person? Who are you? Why are you posting on an account with no followers? And just like, why are you posting, basically? This is weird. Well, it's kind of weird for me too. My name's Susannah Friesen. I am a Christian influencer on Instagram, TikTok. I have a podcast. I'm also a Christian author who just released my first book, I should say, 2 weeks ago. But I don't have a space where I can just voice myself and be authentically me, because as much as I portray this image online, encouraging others with godly content and maybe acting like I have my faith all together, the truth is that I don't. In all transparency, I don't think I've been in my Bible for at least a week. I pray, but I don't know if they're good prayers. And I feel incredibly distant from God right now. And I brought up the painful video and how following Jesus is painful because it is. I work in healthcare. I'm a PSW, which means personal support worker. And about a year ago, I started posting online and I grew exponentially. God blessed my page so much in terms of getting views and gaining followers and encouraging others and all that stuff. But meanwhile, I'm doing all this work and I'm working at my other job too. I'm basically busting my butt to do all of these things. My husband and I, we live with my in-laws. We aren't financially well off. And growing up, I used to dream of having the amount of followers I do now. I used to dream of waking up and finding my account flooded with hundreds of thousands of followers. And on Instagram, I have 132,000 when I'm posting this. On TikTok, I have 400,000. On YouTube, I have 4,000. And my podcast is doing quite well in terms of listeners. When I would have these dreams, or when I used to think about having that amount of following, I used to think, wow, if I just had that, I would be so happy. If I just had that, I wouldn't desire anything else. Everything in my life would be fine and good, and I'd be able to afford all the things I want to afford. I'd be a typical influencer. But the matter of the fact is that even though you might have a following, even though you might have lots of views, that does not equate happiness. And that took me over a year to find out. When I first started getting all this recognition and all these views, I was ecstatic. I was obsessed with the numbers. And people who follow me online know that. Lately it's been painful to continue to do so, because I'm basically working two full-time jobs for no gain, really. I don't make a lot of my real life job. I make next to nothing on social media. I released my first book, like I said, 2 weeks ago, and I've sold maybe 13 copies on Amazon. And I just feel really, really discouraged. I cried about it last night. I cried. I prayed. My husband prayed for me. He's been encouraging me, don't give up, don't give up. Everyone's saying don't give up, but my heart hurts because it's exhausted. God calls me to do this ministry. God calls me to do this. And it's painful because I am exhausted and I don't know why he's calling me to this. It's definitely not for financial gain, that's for sure. Like, it's not for financial provision or anything like that. Like, I get some brand deals, but they're very small. They're very few and far between. Definitely not enough to live off of. So yeah, I am posting this on an account with 0 followers, and I'm going to see what happens. Like, I'm going to see if anyone else can relate to this. If God has called you to something and you do it, you obey, but it's painful to do it. It's painful to obey. It's painful to continue to work your butt off for no gain. And I know that sounds horrible. I know that serving God should be about serving God. But when I see other people succeeding around me in the same sphere that I'm doing, who are able to quit their job, who sold like 3,000 books, their first book, in the first 2 weeks of its release, it's painful and it makes me feel like, God's abandoned me, even though I'm serving him. I know that my intentions need to be put elsewhere. But yeah, it brings me back to that video that says it's painful to unlearn to love the things you love and learn to love what God loves. And God definitely does not love what I'm loving right now or what my soul craves. I don't know who's listening to this. I don't know who's watching this. I don't even know who cares to watch it. But what I do know is that if you're feeling the same way I do, if you feel like you're hurting because you're walking in obedience with God, that's normal. That's okay. And usually the pain is good. The hurt is good because it's a hurt that's going to bless you in the long run, and it's going to help you grow into the person that God is calling you to be. And who that person is, the person that God is calling you to be, is not the person that you are now. Is not the person who is searching for recognition, is not the person who is searching for fame, is not the person searching for monetary gain and worldly treasures. The person that God is calling you to be is the person that is serving him and has a heart that only longs to love what he loves and to obey him. And it's something that I'm learning. It's something that during my Christian walk, I've had to learn and relearn over and over and over again, because your faith journey is not linear. There's going to be times where you're on fire for God and you just love everything that he loves and you want to obey him no matter the cost, and you are happy to do so. And then there are times where you're going to be like me in this period where obeying God and continuing to serve him is absolutely painful and is going to burn you out and is going to make you question where he is. God is not far from me. I know that. I am far from God, and I need to get back into his word. I need to pray more about things that would please him and stop asking for things that only benefit me. If you feel the same way, I'd love for you to leave a comment and we can just talk about it. But I don't know who will feel the same way or where this video is going to end up. Have a good day. God bless. I'll see you next time.